Hello, everybody. On this channel, we talk about all things fandom and we talk about them in a positive way. If that's something that appeals to you, you know you've come to the right place, right? Right. And today's Tuesday. So, what do we talk about on Tuesday? Well, on Tuesday, we have to talk about horror movies. So, what horror movie are we going to talk about today? Well, here's a surprise. It's Halloween Ends because it is the gift that keeps on giving in terms of theories and all that. All right, so what is the theory? Well, the theory is this. Basically, there's been talk of a new final girl. And the new final girl in the movie, people are saying that is going to be the granddaughter of Laurie Strode. So that Allison is the new final girl. Now, I know that this is speculation that she survives and carries the films forward should they want to go forward, but that is really the theory that has been going around. That Laurie Strode will die and Allison will take over as the new final girl. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the repercussions of that. Give you kind of pros and cons as to why that isn't good and why it is. So first, let's start with the pros. The pros of why this might be a good thing is that it lets the Strode family continue. It lets us go into more of the Strode family, which has always been a staple in the Halloween films. Throughout every timeline that has been reset, the one constant has been Laurie Strode's family in some way, shape, or form. So having this be consistent is good. Not to mention Andy Madchek, who plays her, is actually a good actress, and I think she could pull off going into the future in this series. The thing about it is that in order for her to do this, she has to be willing to commit, and she seems to like the job. So that's the pros. So let's talk about a few cons. One of the major cons in this is that it means that Michael Myers will not be getting some massive makeover in terms of he can actually de-age or whatever. We have to continue to believe that Michael Myers, this old man, is committing all these murders and that somehow Allison is afraid of him. And that presents a little bit of a problem. Also, the other con is that it continues with the Strode family. One thing that I think would be really good, and maybe it's just me, would be that the Strode family takes a break from Halloween. You're tired of seeing the same old, same old. Why not allow the boogeyman to go other places? Allow him to do other things. Having the Strode family, I think, writes it into a corner where fans expect that a member of the Strode family will always be the final girl. So that's the pros and cons of it. But here's the thing about it. Is this likely? Well, you could argue that it's likely because it looks like Laurie Strode will die in this movie. The more I hear, the more I think that Laurie Strode will probably die and maybe even die early on. Well, I say that. But she's either going to die early on or not be a big part of the movie until the end and then die. And the final girl, whoever that will carry on through the next film. But part of me doesn't think that it's going to be Allison. Somehow I think that the final battle is literally going to be Laurie Strode versus Michael Myers with no Allison involved. I don't think Allison is going to get a big part in this movie. I would argue that if Allison has a bigger part than Laurie Strode does, then basically towards the middle of the movie, Allison will die. Now, the theory, of course, states that she would go forward and it would be her set of movies then, and we'd follow her into the next film. And that's that's, like I said, that might be writing us into a little bit of a corner. Allowing Michael Myers to be a literal boogeyman, allowing him to literally stalk and kill anyone, makes him much more scary than if he's just going after the Strode family. Because wouldn't you, by now, if you lived in Haddonfield, come on, the Strode family would be pariahs. If I saw them, I'd walk across the street to walk home. I wouldn't be anywhere near them. And I think that's the thing. If a killer in a movie is stalking only a certain person or a certain person's family, it writes it into kind of this corner where it makes it a little bit weird for us to even look at it, because then you're thinking, well, you know the Strode family's gonna get stalked by Michael Myers. What are you doing hanging out with them? Come on now. And it kind of, people never complain about that part of suspension of disbelief, but that's a bigger part of a suspension of disbelief for me than the supernatural. Because explaining away Michael Myers as a supernatural being definitely is better than explaining why people want to hang around with the Strode family. If it's become local legend that Laurie Strode will be stalked by Michael Myers, the boogeyman, why would anyone ever want to hang out with her? And the same thing can be said going forward. And that's kind of my problem with this theory that Allison will be the new final girl. If she is the new final girl, I don't want to see it stretched out. I don't want to see her be the new final girl going into any sort of new trilogy or new group of films. I'd like to see her be the final girl, come back in the next film, get killed, and then we move on from the Strode family forever, if that's what they have to do. But I don't think that having the Strode family be a part of the franchise anymore is a good thing. But that's just my opinion. If the movie moves on, I think that they should move away from the Strode family. All right, so let me know what you think about the potential that Allison will be our new final girl going forward. Where do you think it goes from here if that's true? Also, make sure that you are leaving that comment, because YouTube likes it when you leave that comment, and we like to hear from you. Share this video with all of your friends so they get the same great content you're getting. Remember to subscribe. Miko says we need more subscribers, and this face wouldn't lie to you. And then, friends, make sure you're hitting that notification bell so that you don't miss a single video. And at the end of the day, fandom is family.